Hey everyone, my name is Ray. I'm with Off the Charts Consulting, and you are with me for the inaugural vlog of what I'm calling Viz in 10. And what we're intending to do here is take a data visualization software, spend exactly 10 minutes on it, having not seen it before, not used it before, and see how far we can get making a dashboard or an analytics viz or whatever. Just really testing out their ability to make analytics pick up and play, which is really the direction that data analytics and data visualization is going. Is putting it in the hands of the end user, so it doesn't take a computer scientist or a techie or whatever to create these dashboards. Anyone can do it, and we're going to see if that's the case today with Google's entry into the visualization market, Data Studio. So Data Studio is I think, cloud-based. What we're just going to add a connection here. It's a cloud-based software, so you can't use it offline, which is one of the first things that jumped out at me about it, was you were forced to do it online. Not a big deal for some people, but I know I travel. I like to kind of do things on the go at coffee shops or whatever, so wouldn't really be able to do much with this. You'll notice with the connectors, a couple that jump out at you quick. First of all, there's not too many compared to some of the other big players. I mean, you have your classics, like SQL's there, or MySQL's there. I mean, PostgreSQL is there. But one thing I notice is the default connections to Google products as you'd expect, such as AdWords, Google Analytics, YouTube Analytics. And I think that's really where Data Studio is going to try to make their money. But we're not going to test that today. We're going to go and do a classic CSV file. I do think I might do a parallel series where we look only at Google Analytics tie-ins. A lot of players trying to get into that market, trying to benefit from the general badness that is Google Analytics at displaying data and allowing you to drill and slice and dice. But today, as I said, we're just going to do a CSV file. We're going to do Austin bike share trips and the GS. So as you can see here, the file size limit for CSVs is 100 megs. This file was above that, so I actually had to cut out 3 years of data, which I thought was crazy, really. Like 100 megabytes for a file, and I don't know. So anyways, we're at a small file, just waiting here to get to our 10 minutes because I actually jumped the gun a bit. So as you can see, we are just trying to predict the values. That's kind of typical. So you got bike ID, which is a text field, a year, which they have as a text field, which is interesting because year's a 4-digit field in this, so I don't know where it's picking that up. Start time's a time. Start long, which is a longitude, would actually be a geo, I think. So let's see if we can flip that over. Start lat would be a geo, so let's see if we can flip that over. And end lat, end long as well, but just for the sake of time, we'll just not touch those. Again, month, that's a 2-character, but whatever, let's go. I think we got enough to get started. So we're going to create report, and just while it does this, I'll show you the raw data real quick. Pretty simple, not too many tricks here, which, you're never going to get data this well formatted in industry, but for this test, that's what we'll do. So here it is. This is Data Studio blank canvas. So on the right, you have your layout and theme. So you can change, I guess, oh, that's a bit bright. You can change the color to whatever you want. Let's just keep it at white. Change the secondary color, so that's cool stuff. And then I guess up here are your charts. So let's start with a bar chart. Only so far wrong you can go with a bar chart. Put that in. And it looks like over here. Oh, look at that. So it's doing trip ID of a sum of trip IDs. That's not good for a start because trip ID is it's an identification field. And by what? By bike ID. I guess it's just doing a top 10. I don't know if we stretch it out. No, it's still just 10. Alright, so let's go and change this. Create new metric. So again, right, so it's counting as a number, which is our problem. Let's keep it as numeric, but can we, no. Here, aggregation, let's do count distinct. Okay, sorted. Good enough, so now I think it's thinking, and that's a bit more reasonable. But it doesn't make sense though. I guess your count distinct of trip, that still doesn't make sense to me. So let's do bike ID by minutes. I guess count distinct of trip ID wouldn't have worked. So let's do bike ID by minutes. So there you go. This is how much each bike has done in its, lifetime. And then while explaining that, I forgot what I said I was going to do there. So let's put in a pie chart. And again, like you click and you click your chart, you shoot it onto the map, and that's kind of cool. But then it default populates. I don't care much for that. I'd kind of like to, instead of wasting my time changing what they've put in, I'd rather just do it myself. Anyways, I'd like to here, and I do know the data a little bit, so I want to do subscriber type, which is what kind of user, I guess, is taking the bike out for a day. And again, the thinking. So it's doing subscriber type by, and now it's doing my count distinct of trip ID. So it's saying 56% of your trips were walk up. So that's kind of cool. I don't mind that. Can get behind that. So as far as pie charts go, it's not too bad. See if we can do a map with our lat longs that we brought in. Cannot be rendered. Dimension. So the issue is this guy, your start lat. Oh, I see. It wants to just have one field. So it looks like it's looking for a lat long kind of concatenation. And so I can try to create a calculated field. So let's try that. Lat long ID. That's fine. I don't know. Let's do str string. Oh. Can we convert? No. It doesn't look like there's a string function. So let's just do lat. Start lat. Plus. I think what I can kind of predict what it's going to do here. It's going to throw an error because it thinks I'm trying to join a string value with two numerics, and it did. But, it doesn't really tell you why, right? Like, we can kind of guess, but it's not going to tell you. And this here, let's see, formula help. That doesn't do much. So, like, there's not much help there. Well, let's go ahead and reconnect, I guess. You wouldn't expect this to churn that much just because I haven't really done anything. Tried to make a field, it didn't work. Yeah, I know. No field changes were found. Why did we have to think about it then? Alright, so the map was a bust. Let's see, can we do... Oh, let's do some scorecards. Let's do some of them. Because this is going in front of the big boss, and he wants to see his numbers at a glance. So trip ID, There you go. Number of trips is what that would show. I'll have to see if we can kind of title these. Not in any obvious way. Okay, that seems like a whole thing. So let's just in the interest of time, put another one of these here and change this to our other dimension, which is duration in minutes. Okay, so there you go. 14 million minutes on the bikes, 4,900 or 492,000 trips, and let's just give this bad boy a title. Austin bike. What's it called? Share dashboard. So. Okay, there's that, drag these down. And you know, like it says trip ID, but I'd kind of like it to say, you know, count of trip ID, but that's not what I'm going to spend my last minute and a half on here. Let's see if we can do time series. So again, it's pre-populated the fields for me, so it's going to give me number of trips by day for the duration of the subset of data that I have. Not that I'm still bitter about having to cut out, you know, 60 megs of data, but there it is. So make this a bit wider. Or sorry, that was longer. And I think, let's see, we have 55 seconds left. Let's see if we can figure out how to filter. So this is the filter control. Bike ID. What are we doing? I don't know what this is doing. Alright, never mind. Is there any other way? Filter, filter, filter. Oh, filter. Include subscriber type. But this is just gonna, sorry, I don't want this. Continue. Because I want this to kind of drive the rest of the dashboard. But 2:03, we're not gonna have enough time. Let's make these a little bit chunkier and we'll call it a day. So there it is, 10 minutes. We got 3 charts, 2 scorecards, and a title. Relatively painless. Like you can kind of get at it pretty quickly. There was only a little bit of stopping thing. I think it fell over a little bit on the title on the calculated field creation. There was no real hints, and I didn't find there was any hints. There isn't really any help on the error. It kind of just said you messed up. Tough luck. And then, you know, didn't make any changes to anything. It took a while to get us back. So that was definitely our biggest time waste of this, as the trial. But in terms of this, you know, grabbing one of these and clicking somewhere and then it populating there, that's kind of cool. I kind of like that. And then you kind of just freeform drag it around. You can put it over stuff if you feel like you want to. Like there's not much limitation there, which is nice. You know, I find it maybe it doesn't create the smoothest looking dashboards as easily because like you got these awkward spacings and stuff isn't exactly aligned. But in terms of getting off to a good start, it's not bad. What else? The text tools were cool. We could change the theme to, you know, we make the whole thing a stupid color like that if we want to. That's kind of neat. And I think, you know, so overall, not bad. A solid effort put in. Oh, one thing I'm going to try to do is kind of come back around and learn the stuff that we didn't know. But in terms of this session, I haven't figured out the scale yet, but I'm gonna give Google Data Studio a 6.